Hey, Scott from aristocob.com here.
And Seth from theshrinkingpastors.com. CobLife!
And together, the three of us, we are Markwood Men's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again. Morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer. You didn't throw up the sign.
You know,
How do they know that you aren't ashamed of smoking your cob in public?
I'm not out in public right now. See, had we encountered each other on the street or at a pipe show this weekend,
I feel like though, since you have at least doubled the number of people using that hashtag, that this is a public setting.
And by the way, should the smoke slowly exit?
Yeah.
Like the spiral?
Yeah. So you yeah. Kind of like there's a crude, middle finger joke of your hand expanding like a balloon.
Right.
Similar, but with a bit of a twirl because, smoke.
Yeah. Okay. So, hey, this is the week that you guys
Did
are
you
voting.
mod this, by the way?
No.
This is
Wicked high flying,
yeah.
This is the week you guys are voting on the finalists in the Cobfoolery contest. The professional category gets judged by you. Now, I'm hoping and praying there's someone for you to judge. Check Cobfoolery.com, and if there is, there's a link to where you can vote. And at this moment, the team of judges are actually judging the amateur class. So we'll have announcements this coming week. This coming week, which also happens to be the Chicago Pipe Show. One of the things that came up while we were at the recent TAPS show, the Triangle Area Pipe Smokers Show over in Raleigh, was...
Yeah, we never gave a recap of that.
No,
I know you did on your channel a little bit. It was a good show.
Then why don't you talk about it?
It was a good show. It's a lot smaller than Nashville or Chicago. Like we've
bigger
discussed.
than Nashville was last year.
Yeah, that's true. Like we've discussed in the past, it is a smaller show. I think we still agree that there is a missed opportunity for the younger crowd. They're in a college city and could be doing something to attract them. One of the things we discussed is having pipe presentations and advertising that this is how you pack a pipe. This is what you want to look for when you're looking for a pipe or for tobacco. Offering those classes to free to people that are coming in to maybe attract some of the younger crowd. All of that said, it seemed a little bit bigger than last year to me. It seemed a little bit. There was a higher energy level, I think, in general. There this year, and there were more people out in the smoking area for longer periods of time. And we didn't stay for long. In fact, I was there for about 2 hours before I had to.
We went over Friday night. I spent a couple hours on the patio at the reception. Seth was there just a short time. He arrived late on a flight back from Phoenix, and then had to leave early from the show. But you're exactly right. Last year, everything was so up in the air because of the FDA. No one knew what to do.
Right.
And folks were moping, and there were some folks that pulled out at the last minute, and people that kind of afraid to sell. This year, it looks like they've kind of got their brains in order about what they were going to do, at least for this year. When all the deeming really, truly kicks in next year, we'll see what happens, if it does. Still optimistic.
But as always, the highlight of the show, the highlight of all of the shows in my experience, being someone who doesn't really go to buy, the highlight is getting to see and hang out with people and meeting people. And so we got to do that, had some great opportunities to hang out Friday night a little bit, and then at the show during the morning. So meet some people that you knew from social media, and some other people just knew us from YouTube, or were just happen to be sitting at the table. It's great.
Which is, I have to say, it's kind of funny because I'm bad with names, but worse than that, I'm bad with names and faces, getting those two together. And I'm so thankful, and here's a tip for you if you're going to Chicago. I am so thankful that about 9-10 people came over and said, hey, I'm Chris. I'm known as Chris the Bearded on Instagram.
Right.
hey, Chris.
Yeah.
You know, Handlebar Mike, Nick Piper, his brother was there. Whole bunch of guys. I hate to start listing because I'll forget people, but there's tip number one. If you're going to go to Chicago, introduce yourself. Everybody's feeling awkward. Everybody is a little bit sheepish about approaching people. But you know what? We all want to meet one another. So just go over and introduce yourself. And one of the things that happened was a young man who was there with his dad came over to us and told us he really appreciated the tips video that we did.
Yeah.
When did we do that?
3 years ago? 2 years ago? Right at, was it before Chicago?
I don't remember.
I think it was after Nashville. It was early on. It was early in the videos
We'll link
we did.
to it below, but basically we did a video to kind of give you some tips for if you're going to the pipe show. Here's some stuff you might want to do. And, you know, some of the really, truly life-saving things is in your pipe bag, you absolutely need to have some headache medicine. Whatever medicine you can take, that's what you should have in there. You should have some chocolate, ideally dark chocolate, because that'll help you if you get a little bit of a little nicotine buzz. Nicotine poisoning really can happen.
Drink
water and liquids.
more water than you think you need
Yeah.
to, because especially in an event like Chicago where you're in a smoking room, your body's drying out, you're going to be hotter than you realize, you're smoking constantly, you will dehydrate faster than you think, and then when the headache hits, by that time it's the medicine and the water doesn't act fast enough to not put a damper on your body.
And in Chicago, you will be secondhand smoking.
Right.
You're inside of a tent, a big circus tent, right? But if the weather's not great, as it was the year we were there, it was cold and there were some issues. It was all kind of buttoned up, and so that smoke stayed in there. By the second or third day, if you go for the full thing, you're secondhand smoking, big time.
Right. You walk in and you can't see people because there's just a haze in the whole floor. Some of the things, Ziploc baggies, take those. Sharpie markers, take those. Those are for jotting down tobacco if you're getting stuff. Also, bring some tobacco from home to share. You know, something that's
form.
unique. Yeah, something or something that you lay in one queue.
You're going to find that folks are going to have tobacco laid out for people to share.
Right.
Right. And it's proper etiquette if somebody has left a tin open or a jar to kind of help yourself, but at the same time you should acknowledge that you're helping yourself. Hey, mind if I steal some of this? Right? They're going to say yes. Say thank you. Report back that you really liked it. Right? And also be that guy that also opens a tin and leaves it out. Bring some of your favorite tobacco to share. I know not everybody's in a position to do that, but if you can, do that. It's just all part of being a part of the community. Now, when we were there, it was pre-FDA.
Right.
And they had a whole bunch of samples that were put out by the vendors. At the TAP show, they kind of figured out a workaround for how we could purchase samples. You purchase coupons from the club that was putting on the show.
Right.
And then you use the coupons to redeem for some tobacco.
You got 50 cents an ounce. 50 cents per coupon, which got you an ounce. It was probably a bit more than an ounce.
They were very generous.
Tobacco. So.
Speaking of that, excuse me, we got a bunch of that to smoke too.
That's true. It's true, we need to stop smoking this one cue.
No, not going to happen. But we'll link to that video. There's a lot more tips than that. Those are just a couple that came to our mind. And that this young man, I'm sorry, I forget your name. Single yourself out here. Of course, you're going to want to hashtag CobLife. But let us know that you are him. He is you.
You definitely also want to, if you're involved at all in social media, and if you're meeting people that you don't know, take a beat to send them an invite there, or write down, open up the notes app on your phone and write down their name and username, because if you think that you'll remember beyond that conversation, you won't. Yep. And so you might miss out on some great long-term relationships with people that you've really connected with because you just didn't network.
One criticism that I've always had at these shows is you need a name tag. You really need to have a name tag. So
we brought one to one show, I think.
we had some
think we
made
had
from
some, yeah.
Zazzle that said, "Hi, I'm Scott from Markwood Men's Breakfast Club," and it had
that's
our
true.
pictures.
That's
had
true.
our pictures on it. As if they couldn't tell. But I wasn't always with Boy. He wasn't always with me, and it showed that hey, we're a team on YouTube. But on your name tag, put your @Aristocob if you're on Instagram or Twitter or something like that. Put your handle there.
Don't if your names are if the things are different.
First
don't
name.
put everything.
First name.
Yes. Also, if your usernames and things are different, don't put everything. Don't put your YouTube and your Twitter and your Facebook and your whatever. Put the one that you want people to go to.
Right.
And then if they want to find your other stuff, they will. Again, this is
Whichever one best represents your brand.
right. So it's all about making sure not to lose that connection with somebody. Not necessarily about getting them to buy into everything that you do. And I'll be the first to acknowledge some of that stuff we think about maybe a little bit differently than most people because we're producing videos. We're interested in that side of things.
My wife sells pipes.
Right. We're producing some stuff. And so there's a little bit more of a entrepreneurial mentality for us when we go into a situation like that. Not that we're there to sell things, but that we're being a little bit more intentional than the average traveler, I think, in a situation like that. But some of those tips will serve you well in the long run for building relationships within the community.
Another tip on name tags. This is a trade show thing. Name tag should be on your right breast. Because when you reach out to shake someone's hand, that is the part of your body that's leading, right? This part of your body may even tilt away from them. Most people put it here over their pocket. It should be here on your right. Also, as a rule, as you're meeting people, if you're holding a cold drink, it should be in your left hand. Right, so you're not reaching out with a hand that was just holding something cold and slimy. You don't want to be that dead fish guy.
Right.
That's just sort of cocktail party.
Now, if you're meeting another CobLife member,
You know what to do. Show them, son.
But then, because you're face to face, then you make sure to grab smoke rings. So
An actual cob would work. Is that what we do now?
yeah, that's how you know that you're both in the club. That's and then you gotta.
we had another handshake at one time. Remember that one?
I don't recall.
Remember the Rhett and Link handshake?
No. No. I don't think that was me. I think
It wasn't the thing.
think I denied doing that.
So if you're going, have a great time. We look forward to your pictures and videos. Tell us all about it. But don't be obsessed with recording. Don't worry about us. Have a great time. Meet some folks. And you can record stuff back in your hotel room when you're giving some thought. People will slip away to go have lunch. They'll slip away to have breakfast. They'll slip away to have dinner. Be sure you're a part of one of those groups that's slipping or one of those groups that's bringing pizza in. Don't just sit in the corner and be a wallflower. If you're taking the time and spending the money to be there, really be
Most
there.
out of it.
Be there. So have fun. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you again next week.
See ya.